my ground in every fight. Told them once and told them twice. Guess it took the burn to open eyes. They advocated for the wrong side, ignored the truth that I could not hide. Now they're stranded in the desert dry, chasing shadows with a desperate sigh. I hate to say I told you so, but the fire's out and the ashes glow. The fools who mocked me get the show. Truth's the only thing that grows. They fought me hard, pushed me away. Now their blind faith led them astray. Promises shattered, lies on display. They've learned a hard lesson today. Now they're turning back on broken dreams, wandering lost in twisted schemes. The truth they shunned is loud and screams. Nightmares are never what they seem. I hate to say I told you so, but the fire's out and the ashes glow. The fools who mocked me get the show. Truth the only thing that grows. Now they're turning back on broken dreams, wandering lost in twisted schemes.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone doing today? Hopefully you are all doing well. I am doing absolutely phenomenal. This week has been incredible for me. I am so happy to be here with you guys. And, we are just going to continue what we do. We are going to run it up. Let me go ahead and set up our 2-hour timer for tonight. We want to be within our time limits. So what is the plan for today? So let's do this, right? Last week, or not last week, but the last time I was actually live with you guys, we were going through scanning. We installed Metasploitable using UTM. We used Nmap to scan the networks, all that good stuff. Today, we are going to be using Python to build a Portscanner. Similar, it's not similar to Nmap, it's just a very basic port scanning tool, but just so we can get into the habit of seeing how coding can integrate with ethical hacking and penetration testing, all of that good stuff, right? So that's the plan for today. But before we go any further, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are engineered to win. we are going to, like I said, we're going to be doing port scanning tonight, all of that good stuff. Tonight is Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday, April. Did I say April? Yes, I did say April. April 3rd, 2025. I mean, we're already on the 3rd day of April. The month is pretty much over. The year is just around, 2026 is right around the corner. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for 2026? I was born ready for 2026, 2027, 2028, and beyond. All right. Let's get into our agenda real quick, and then we will get to work. All right. And I have some great topics for our breaks tonight. I have a great opener as well. So let me get this banner up on the screen for our ethical hacking. All righty then. So, I don't know if you guys can hear that. You know what? Give me just a second because you cannot buy good help nowadays. Hold on one second. All right, I think we're good. Anyways. All right, here we go. So let me get into our agenda. You know, just sometimes you have a little bit of distractions. You have to figure it out. All right, let's get into this. What's up, my guy Magnetar in the building? I will be getting to the chat in just a second, but let's get into our agenda. So first and foremost, a little bit of housekeeping. I want to say a big thank you to all of the subscribers on the channel. Those who are brand new, those who have been with me for a very long time. Those who watch from the clouds, those who are in the lives with us, those who who are in the comments for the clips that we release, all that good stuff. I appreciate every last one of you.
I appreciate you.
And shout out, salute to the Patreon members, my tech barbarians, my tech prodigy members, my technical explorers, all of you guys who put in the work day in and day out, who are looking to get 1% better every single day. You're not all about the talk, but you're about the actions. Shout out to every last one of you guys. You guys are the absolute best.
We the best.
And thank you so much to my tech mercenaries out there. Those are the YouTube members that keep this channel alive, that allows me to come on here and do the shows and provide and give me the opportunity to add value into your lives. Let's get it. All right. What's coming up next on this channel? I believe we're going to be doing the Saturday morning show. Men lie, yes. Women, they also lie. But numbers, what do numbers do? Numbers manipulate. That's where we're reviewing our weekly economic numbers, see how it crosses over into the tech space, all of that good stuff. We're looking at job numbers. I think this week should be job numbers. So we're going to be looking at that, see how the, you know, I know a lot of people are having a heart attack over their unrealized capital gains and losses. For me, when I see the stock market, you know, dancing like that, being a little bit schizophrenic, I'm like, well, I'm not taking anything out of it, so I'm not losing anything. So my unrealized gains, they stay unrealized, because guess what? For me, I'm not worried about it. I am not worried about it whatsoever. But that is what we're going to be looking at Saturday morning. We're going to have our Doge watch as well to see what is going on, what is Doge uncovering in our federal government. That is going to be Saturday morning. Might have to start a little bit earlier on Saturday because I might have someone coming in here to change the AC out in this studio. So we shall see. But you'll see a schedule. It's probably going to be earlier though. I'll let you guys know. Sunday we're going to be going over DevOps. What we couldn't do last, we're going to do it this week because of the power outages and stuff like that. That is the plan. for this weekend. And actually, I'll announce that a little bit later. Pre-recorded content tomorrow on the Bug Bite. We're going to be talking about Oracle's security breach, all of that stuff. It is going to be phenomenal. So tune in tomorrow on the episode of the Bug Bite at noon Eastern time. And as you've seen, we release shorts as well as clips from various shows throughout the week. And I am working on ramping that back up. Okay, so that is the plan. All right, what I was gonna say is I'm also going to be going live with Justin and Henry and my jiu-jitsu family on Sunday night on the Half Guard Halfie channel. So tune in to that. I'm going to drop the link for you for that channel in case because I'm not going to do it on this channel. It's going to be on the Half Guard Halfie channel. So tune in on Sunday for that. Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. We're going to be talking about jiu-jitsu. We're going to be reviewing Henry's matches along with some other stuff. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. All right. So with that being said, let me check the chat. Let me check the chat and then we will get into our show. So first and foremost, I got my guy Magnetar in the building. Salute to you as well, Magnetar. And you know what, Magnetar? I did not look for the Star Wars yet, but you know what? We will do that tonight together. Let me just pull this up and I will, and you know what, Magnetar? I'm gonna let you decide. I'm gonna let you decide on what Star Wars sound effects we're gonna be using. As long as YouTube does not give me hassle for it, I will be more than happy to use that. So I have it pulled up. So as we get into the show, maybe on our first or second break, we will go and look at those sound effects, all right? So let's continue on. What else do we have? Who else do we have in the building? We have Rock the Scrubs, Roxy in the building. Says, good evening, Techcoach Ralph, Magnetar, and everyone. Good evening to you as well, Roxy. Hopefully you are doing amazing. Magnetar says, I'm not panicking over here. I'm not panicking either, Magnetar. I am good to go. That's why I have all my stuff set up on auto, so I don't have to get all emotional over it and stuff like that. I'm like, you just do what you do. Because I'm like, if I'm not going to take out, then what? As my second favorite runner-up said, at this point, what difference does it make? So that's how I see it. Let's see. Roxy says blah 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 on stocks. Roxy, if you're not taking it out, you got to stop looking at it. If you're not taking it out, you got to stop looking at it because you would just drive yourself insane. Let's see. Roxy says, beard trimming day tomorrow. Roxy, I did not know you had a beard. That is news to me as well as to everyone else. Well, good luck to you, Roxy. Thank you for letting us know. All right. So let's jump into this portion of the show real quick. I just wanted to start off with this, right? I salute and congratulate and applaud every single person who puts in the work, right? And for me, when I'm working with somebody, I am always pushing them to get started. I remember so I was working with somebody last year, they started right around this time last year, and they were in school. They had just taken a boot camp for QA. And I'm like, all right, so do you know about this? Do you know about that? I have no idea. I was asking about Docker, about GitHub, all this stuff. And they're like, I am so lost. I'm like, well, you're going to have to install Docker. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to do that. And they were like kind of nervous. I said, don't worry about it. I am here with you. Just get started, follow these guides, and we're going to work it out. Within a month, they got started, and then they were like kind of nervous. I'm not entirely sure. Within a month, they started getting more and more comfortable. And that's why, like, when I'm working with somebody, I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter what you think you know or what you don't know. You just have to get started. Do something. Like, if if you want to learn how to code, if you want to learn Python or C# or Go or Ruby or Java, whatever, like you just have to get started. Set up your environment, whatever. Like even if it's just downloading the software, your IDE that you need to do something, you just got to do something. You just got to get started, and then. Right, and that's probably going to be the name of my Monday Candace conversation. It's probably just going to be called Hello World, because you know what Hello World represents? Hello World represents getting started in writing your first piece of code. It represents taking that first initial step, or even a crawl. If you're a baby, you might be a baby in the industry, but you're just taking that crawl and you just do something. And I just always push the people that I'm working with to do something. And sometimes they find me utterly annoying. But guess what? Down the road, if they can make it, if they stay around, if they last, they will thank me because of the initial that ignition, that kickstart, that push for them to actually do something. Now, some people don't always make it. Some people, I mean, there have been plenty of people that I've tried to work with, and they never actually got it started. And it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm just saying, shout out to every single person that I know who actually puts in the work. They're not jumping from here and here. It's not just about endless ideas and conversations without ever putting or endless dreams, I should say, without ever putting it to paper. So I just want to congratulate you guys, and I want to clap it up for everybody who puts in the work. My tech barbarians, my tech prodigy members, my technical explorers who are learning ethical hacking, who are learning Python, who are learning anything like, studying for certifications, DevOps, all of that good stuff. I salute I'm going to clap it up for all of you guys. Let's take a moment to clap it up. And with that being said, you know what? I'm going to do this to get started. I'm going to read a little section from the book Winning, like I was talking about on Sunday before we got rudely disconnected. So, I'm gonna read a couple of things I have underlined here, right? So the first one says, winning has its own language. It doesn't speak BS. It says, winning requires real talk. And a lot of people, I'll tell you this, right? A lot of people, they can't handle and they don't appreciate real talk when it's like, look, I'm not here to be your therapist. I'm not here to be your bestie. You came here for a reason, and I am going to tell you the truth, and you're gonna have to make adjustments. Either you're going to adjust or you're going to go away. Whatever the case may be, it is what it is, right? So, winning requires real talk, or even better, no talk at all. All right. So another thing I have underlined says, motivation is for those who haven't decided whether to commit to their goals. What in the? I'm going to read that again because that's really good. Motivation is for those who haven't decided whether to commit to their goals or how much time, effort, and life they're willing to invest to achieve them. That's fire right there. That is fire. I'm talking about their need to have others push them into action with a swift kick in the ass. I'm just saying. A lot of times you have to give them that push, and it's like you shouldn't need it. If you really want it, you have to go out there and get it. And, all right, last thing I'm going to read. There is nothing normal about winning. If you need normal, you need to fit in. If you need to fit in, be prepared for a long stay in the middle of the pack. Winning requires you to be different, and different scares people. So if you're worried about what others will say, the long-term effects, the sacrifices you'll make, the sleep you'll lose, your family being angry, I can't help you with that. And I'm going to stop it right there. That right there is absolutely fire. All right. So with that being said, we are ready to get to work. Let me go ahead and read the chat one last time before we jump into it. All right. So Roxy says, you got jokes. I mean, it was a little, you gotta admit, it was a little funny. It was a little funny. And we got my guy, Mitch, in the building.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
What's going on, Mitch? Hopefully you are doing phenomenal this week. All right. So with that being said, let's do this. Let me start up our first 20-minute segment of building out this port scanner. And we're going to start off with this, all right?
It's time to do.
Now, is it necessary? Do you need to know how to code to be a penetration tester, an ethical hacker, all that? The answer is no. You do not need to know how to write code to be a penetration tester, to be an ethical hacker. However, will it be beneficial to you? And the answer is absolutely. It will be very, very beneficial to you. So I'm gonna use my guy Magnetar in the chat real quick. I know that Magnetar is learning Python, and he's along with other stuff, and he's also has an interest in ethical hacking, penetration testing, cybersecurity, all that. And the thing is, though, a lot of those things work together. And I'm gonna in our first, I'm gonna share with you how a lot of the things that I work on here on this channel, how it leads to some amazing, cool things that I do at work. All right, which I can't really share with you what I do at work because it's kind of private, personal, you know. But I'm gonna share the overall concept with you. But my guy Magnetar, he is always working so hard, maneuvering to see, okay, how can I learn this? How can I learn that? How can I allocate time here? How can I allocate time there? What should I prioritize? Things like that. And the reason I bring that up is because I know that Magnetar has on his list to learn Python, along with other things, and while it's not necessary to learn how to write code, it makes your life easier. And how does it make your life easier? How does it make your life easier? Well, for me, whenever I need to do something that I've been doing manually, I'm like, you know what? Is there a way I can automate this? And I'm like, all right, let me write up some code. Let me write up a program, and let me get that done. And that's the same way that it works with ethical hacking. You even do it with DevOps, right? But with ethical hacking, when you see that you need to like run some type of scanning an nmap or something like that, you can write up some code, whether you're writing a shell script, whether you're writing a Python script, whether you're doing it more like a application in Java or C# or whatever the case may be, in order to help facilitate the work that you do. You know, like you can build a Python. You remember when we were working on what was that called? Hunter.io, and we were looking up the Gorin Farms people like connecting to their API and stuff like that. Well, and I think we also did for what's their name? Fabletics, right? So you could just write up a Python script, for instance, where it's connecting to their API, where you can say, okay, I want to pass this name or this list of names, and I want it to go and do this search and return to me all of the results. So you don't have to go and do one by one and change. Like you can pretty much automate all of that type of stuff, and that is the key when you're going fast. When you're looking for stuff, it's efficiency. See, writing code, knowing how to write code leads to efficiency. All right. So that's why I said, you know what, this port scanner, writing this port scanner code in Python is part of the course, but they say, you know, it's optional if you don't want to learn how to code and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I know how to use Python, but I want to do this, and we're going to do it together. We're going to be using our PyCharm to write out this code. And I watched the video today. It was about 25 minutes, and I see what they did. I have an idea of what they did, but I'm like, I'm going to do it my own way, and you're going to see how knowing the concept of what needs to be done for port scanning, how I'm going to put that together. All right. So without further ado, we are going to switch screens over into our PyCharm. All right. So we have PyCharm open up over here. And I'm just going to create a new Python file, and I'm going to call that Python file scanner. All right, so there's really one package needed to work on this, which is called socket. I had never heard of it before until I watched the video. So, but we're gonna need that in order to be able to do the scanning. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other packages, but this is the one that they mentioned. So we're gonna keep it simple. We're gonna use socket. All right. Now, what exactly is this socket package? So we're going to go over to the screen, and we're gonna search for Python socket. And we're going to click on this one, and it's a socket low-level networking interface. Is this the one that I want? I don't know if this is the one that that's not the one that well, I guess it is. This module provides access to the BSD socket interface. It is available on all modern Unix systems, Windows, Mac OS, and probably additional platforms. So what's going to happen is, because I'm building this on my local machine, and we're going to want to run it in Kali Linux, we'll end up having to push it up to GitHub. So now we're going to have some Python experience. We're going to learn about a new package or a new module, and then we're going to push it up to. We're going to set up a GitHub repo to push it up to, and then we will also pull it into Kali Linux and then run it from there. So we might end up going a little bit longer than this. Like we'll probably have to do multiple shows to get this. Who knows, right? Who knows how fast we'll work, because there are some requirements that we're gonna have to meet. But that is the idea for tonight and however long it takes us. Okay, so let's go over to. So this is the module, right? It says this module does not work or is not available on WebAssembly. The Python interface is a straightforward transliteration of the Unix system call and library interface for sockets to Python object-oriented style. The socket function returns a socket object whose method implements various socket system calls. All right, all this stuff. All right, let's see. So a pair host and port is used for the AFINET address family, where host is a string representing the host name in an internet domain notation, or an IPv4 address like an IP address, right? And port is an integer. Let's see. For IPv4 addresses, two special forms are accepted instead of a host address. Let's see. In address any, in address broadcast. Let me zoom in on this. Let's see. Anything else? I think that's enough information to get started. So what I'm also going to do, I am also going to spin up our Metasploitable. So we're going to open up UTM, because that way we can keep it limited to Metasploitable. Let's get started our Metasploitable. And so I'm going to switch back over here. And I have Metasploitable getting started. I'm going to move UTM. I'm going to minimize UTM. And the very first thing we're going to do, we're just going to import socket. All right. All right. So we have that imported, and let me move this over here so I can see when Metasploitable is ready. All right. So we have import socket, and we have the very first thing that we're going to do, what I like to do, is to just test things out. You know, I'm not just going to jump right into writing a bunch of code. You know how I like to write my code: slowly and systematically. Write a little bit of code, run it, write a little bit of code, run it, write a little bit of more code, and run it again. Is this thing getting started or what? Let me see. Why are you taking so long to get started? Let's see. Into my UTM. Let me see UTM. Because I think he's just looking at me. Oh, wait a second. Did I click play on this? I don't know why it's not getting started. Why are you not getting started? Let's try this one. Hopefully one of them starts up. But anyway, so we're here and I'm gonna say socket dot let's see, socket dot let's see here. Or is it, let me see, socket. So let's go back to the documentation and see creating sockets. All right, let's go to that and socket.socket, and then it says, and so you do that. And then other functions, there's close, there's get address info, get address info, get host name, get host name, get host by address, get name info. Let's see here, get server by port. So would it be get address info? Auditing, so raises an auditing event. Host, port, family, type, protocol. Get address info, close. So, let's see. Let's see what we have over here. Just reading some documentation. All right, let's go back. All right. I don't know why Metasploitable isn't starting up, but if it doesn't start up, I will just start up Kali Linux instead. Weird. That's so weird. All right, I'm going to start up Kali Linux. I'm not going to waste time on Metasploitable today. Let's go to VMware. I just want to be able to scan this stuff real quick. What is this? All right, let's start up Kali Linux. All right. All right, we are logged in to Kali Linux. I don't need that, and I'm going to say, just get the IP address of this, ifconfig, and this is .35. All right, cool. So the very first thing we're going to do, we're going to say socket dot, and then we're going to say get address info. And if we say the host of 192.86.35, 192.168.86.35, and it says to, let's do port 22. So let's just try this and see what happens, okay? Because I have no idea what's gonna happen with this. So let's just run it. And we didn't get anything in response. Not sure what we should get in response, actually. Let's see. What should we get returned to us, if anything? For resin. Resolves host and port into list of addresses. All right, so let's go back over here. And I'm gonna do another search for Python socket module. Oops. All right, let's take a look at that. So it says socket.socket, socket.af, socket.stream, binding a socket. All right, so we need the connect one. Okay, got it. So, all right, so let's do that. Let's go over here and we're gonna do socket.socket and socket.af.inet and socket.sockstream. And I'm going to just say socket equals. I don't like to use these single letter variable names because I have no idea what they mean. At least I know this means socket. So now we can do socket.connect. Oh, I'm over here. Socket.connect. And then we want to pass in the uh 192.168.86.35 was it? Yep, 35. And we want to say, I don't know, let's say port 22, right? Now, let's see if this does anything. So connection refused on port 22. Let's see, I wonder what ports count. Okay, so at least we know that we were able to try our connection, so that's good. And our connection was refused, which is good or bad, I don't know. But we were able to get to 192.168.86. It said that no, we're not allowed to connect here. So we actually just scanned. We built our port scanner. So I guess the show is over. No. We have a lot more work to do. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to write out the requirements for this project. Okay, so here are the requirements. We need to, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this, right? We're going to say, in order to build our port scanner, we need to, so the requirements are, must be able to pass IP addresses, either one or many, to scan, must be able to pass how many ports to scan, and must be able to specify a specific port to scan. Specify. All right, so this is what we wanted to do. Right now, this meets somewhat, so what we have right now kind of meets some of our requirements, but it says, all right, you can do one port, you can do, and you can do one IP address, all right? So it's not exactly meeting all of our requirements. So here's what we're gonna do. Game plan. And this is how my mind works. This is how I work when I'm writing code at work and stuff like that, all right? Game plan. We will take an input, take an input of the IP address, take an input of the, we'll do addresses, and take an input of the what just happened here? Okay, that was weird. Take an input of the ports to scan. I'm going to say port or, okay. And we will also take an input of the amount of ports to scan from 1 to X or to N. All right, so that's
Lunch break. Lunch break.
So doing this right here should specific. So doing this right here, accomplishing this game plan should satisfy the needs over here, all right? And we have a little bit of a sample code that we can build off of in order to get all of this stuff done, all right? So that is the plan for tonight and for however long it takes. We have our requirements written out, our plan of attack written out, and we have a little bit of sample code of what we're gonna use in order to be able to do that, all right? So with that being said, we are going to our very, very first break. All right. So let me see where we are. So let me check the chat real quick, and then I'm going to get to my first break time discussion. So what do we have going on in the chat? Let's see. Magnetar is asking for pizza, and Mitch says he will only offer plain pizza. Not even 4 cheeses, Mitch. Not even 4 cheeses. My goodness. Let's see. Mitch says only weirdos like fruits on pizza. Well, I am a weirdo. I must admit. Hello, my name is Teko Trouf, and I am a weirdo. I like Hawaiian pizza. Is it really Hawaiian though? Do Hawaiians? Where's my guy Don when I need him? Do Hawaiians actually eat? Do they actually eat Hawaiian pizza, which is the ham and the pineapple on the pizza? I don't know. And you know what, Mitch? You know what? The Brazilians, they have a dessert pizza where they have. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put up a picture for you guys of the Brazilian dessert pizza. See if I can find it. Oh yeah. Oh. Mm-hmm. What do you think? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? That is a pizza. That is a pizza with chocolate and chocolate sprinkles and strawberries on there. That is so beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And that's pizza. That is what is this? Is that like cream cheese on? Oh, that's so beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful pizza. I'm just saying. I consider that pizza as well. I consider that pizza as well. Anyways, let's continue. Max says, how likely is it that you'll run into one of those managers in an ethical hacking setting that ends up asking you a coding question? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. Because, one, I mean, I've never applied for an ethical hacking job to be in that position. But honestly, if I was an ethical hacking manager, I would probably ask a coding question. And asking that coding question does not mean that you're not, that you will not. If you say, oh, I don't know how to code, or I don't know, you can't answer it, that doesn't mean you won't get the job. But I would like to know, okay, what is this person's capabilities? What can I do with this person? But if you don't, and but everything else is amazing, then if writing code was not a requirement of the job, then it's not the end all be all. But if someone has the capability, because a lot of times when I've interviewed people in the past, I've asked them if they know how to do this, if they know how to do that. And it didn't mean that they wouldn't get the job if they didn't know how to do it. But I just want to see how much this person knows and what kind of amazing work we can do together. So if I was an ethical hacking manager, I would probably ask it. But it doesn't mean it's not a like you're not gonna get the job if you don't know it. Let's see. Manager says, if you don't know the answer, they might make a mental note of that. I mean, yeah, they might, but it does, like I said, it doesn't mean that you won't get it, you know? And Roxy says to Mitch, it takes one to know one. Oof. That's harsh. Let's see. Manager says, flip side, if you do know it, that just sets you up for greater success sooner or later. And that right there is the winning mindset.
We the best.
Let's see. Let's see. And Rock says Star Wars on sound effects. Oh, you're right. You are right about that. You know what? We're going to do that now. Let me just finish reading the chat and then we're going to get on to that. Let's see. It says, Roxy says, or Mention says, I don't have sound effects, but I do have Disney. It's all on there. I have the sound effects. I'm going to pull it up. And we got my guy, Rod. Are you at 1,000 yet? Because I'll tell you this. I sometimes every other day I kind of stalk Rod Brown's the Nourishing Word channel, and 2 days ago he was at like 800 subscribers, and then today he releases another video and it says it's almost at 1,000. I'm like, Rod Brown, what happened? What happened in such a short amount of time that you're just about at 200 in like 2 days? I was like, shout out to my guy Rod Brown and the Nourishing Word. Says good evening, Tech Coach Ralph and family. Good evening to you as well, Rod Brown. Let's see. Rod Brown says, just give me some cheese. Look, I'm telling you, that pizza is absolutely amazing. Like that, I'm telling you, it is amazing. It is amazing. All right, let me do this. The sound effects real quick, and then we shall get into my first break time discussion. All right, so. I get my sound effects from myinstance.com. Let me go ahead and share the sound so that you will be able to hear it. Let's go with this. And we're going to go over here. No way, you are not at 999. No way you're at 999. All right, hold on. I'm going to have to pull that up as well. All right, but let's take a look at the Star Wars, right? Let's see. That doesn't sound good. How do I stop it? Oh my goodness. Let's see.
I like those odds.
How about this one? How about that one, Magnetar? How about this one? The Sith lightsaber. I think that goes well with Sith Coach Ralph, you know. Let me see.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
I like that one too. Let's go with what else is there? That was the power of the dark side. Let's see. How about that? That one isn't bad either.
Liar!
I like that one too. So many to choose from. You let me know, Magnetar. Which one do you like? Which one? Let me see what this one.
Hello there.
That works for me too. You know what, Magnetar? I'm gonna let you choose. Oh, what's this? I don't know what that was. Anyways, Magnetar, you let me know which sound effect do you find to be the most appealing. and we will go with that one. All right. But I am feeling the Sith lightsaber. All right. All right. Let me go and check this real quick, because I don't believe because Darth Vader. Did I use was Darth Vader the power of the dark side? Let me see. Let's see. 992. All right, I'm gonna drop you guys. Like my guy, Rod Brown is 8 subs away from hitting 1,000 subscribers. So you guys go and check. I'm just gonna drop the link right here. You guys go and subscribe to the Nourishing Word. Let's help him get to his 1,000 subscribers. All right. Shout out to my guy Rod. Look at this. Look at this. He does a lot of amazing work. Look at that. Look at that. So you guys go and subscribe to the channel. Help him get to that 1,000. It is amazing, amazing content. I'm telling you, I stalk that channel just about every day. All right. Let's see. Everybody says Darth Vader, and Roxy says someone doesn't know Star Wars. And if you are referring to me, you are absolutely correct. I'm going to tell you guys a little story about Star Wars, all right? I was working at a company, and the VP of software engineering, he wanted to take us to see a new Star Wars movie that was coming. I forgot which one it was. It came out, it had to be like 2018-ish, so whatever Star Wars movie came out in 2018, he wanted to take us to see that, right? So I'm like, all right, whatever, I'm going to go out. It's a team outing, everything like that. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sitting in the movie theater, and we're like closer to the front, and I fell asleep. I'm sorry. I fell asleep. Look.
I was gonna lie to you, but I had to tell the truth. I'm just being honest.
I fell asleep. But I heard it was a great movie though. I'm just saying. Anyways. Let's get to our first break time topic. So, I work on a lot of cool stuff that I don't really share because I'm not going to share the stuff that I do at work, but I can share a general idea of what I work on. And you can see how a lot of the stuff that we do on this channel, they contribute into the cool stuff that I do at work. All right. So let me put up our 5-minute timer, right? And I also want to call this why, because I am a QA engineer through and through. I work on a lot of other stuff, DevOps, ethical hacking, large language models, but they all work together to help me in stuff that I do, right? But I think this is why QA engineers, we answer all these questions about on our Tuesday night show. I applied for 1,956 jobs and I couldn't find anything. Yada yada yada. Oh, the job market is so bad. It's so bad. While there's always people reaching out to me saying, "Hey, there's this opportunity, there's that opportunity," you know. But I'll give you an example of some of the stuff that just in this week alone that I've worked on. So the technologies that I've worked on, they span from Python, Playwright, you've seen us do Playwright, Terraform, you've seen us do Terraform, writing some automation code, working on AWS to mess with S3 permissions and S3 buckets and stuff like that, right? Updating user access permissions. And I'm doing this as a QA engineer. We had what we call Innovation Week, where we're like building out new stuff, and or not necessarily building out new stuff, but we are sampling things that'll help us, contribute to to the work that we do in the future and make us be more efficient, all that good stuff. And the automation work that I did, so so part of the automation work that I did, right? So I have these two different repos that there are two different projects in the same repo, but they don't really talk to each other. And I needed to get I needed to get a file from one spot to the other project. So I said, all right, I'm going to generate a JSON file, and I'm going to upload that file to S3 with a tag that says delete this file after 15 days. So there's a bunch of automation that's happening here, right? So I'm generating this file, I'm uploading it to a bucket in S3, and I'm saying add a tag to it that says 15 days, automatically delete this file. And now from the other repository, which is consuming that file, I'm saying, all right, log into S3, find the newest file and download it, and now use that in part of the automation. Use that in part of the automation that we're working on, right? So one aspect is doing automation, which is generating a file. The other project is taking that generated file, downloading it, and then it's going to be using it to test some other stuff. So we have a good comprehensive way to test the application. So that is that's really cool stuff. And the reason that I say that a lot of QA engineers are failing is because for too long in QA, it's just been, oh, I'm just going to test exactly what the developers give. So we're just going to sit around and wait and twiddle our thumbs. And then when, and then you say, okay, well, I found this problem. And it's like, now it's right before we have to deliver, and now we can't deliver, or we have to deliver with a bug or whatever happens, right? And it's like, okay, how as QA engineers can we be more innovative? I've seen QA engineers who are, and they're like at the top of their game, they create a whole application that is scanning that is scanning and they build it into a GitHub action, which is going through a repository saying, okay, what are the missing tests? What are the missing API tests that we need to create in order to have a better coverage and verification of our applications? It's amazing stuff. But as long as we are just sitting around and we're just waiting for someone to tell us to do something, we're going to be failing. And that's why it always gives, like, for me, I look forward to going to work because I know that I have some cool stuff waiting for me to work on. And it never stops, because when you're working, you're like, okay, how can we push this testing even further so that we can have more comprehensive coverage? And I find myself using Terraform. I find myself using AWS. I find myself using the Elastic Container Services. And I'm gonna throw in another thing in there.
Move on, back to work, chop chop, let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
I'm gonna throw in another thing in there. I also work with different, I'm not gonna say different teams, but different groups that are like, we're working on other stuff, not within like my development team. And I'm researching, okay, how can we streamline, how can we make this thing that we're doing easier? And I find software like, oh, we can probably use this software. And I test it out and I sample it out and I show it to them. And then you see the eyes of the people that they're like, wow, their eyes light up because, wow, I can use this for so many other stuff. So the whole part, like, being a QA engineer is so much more than just sitting around and waiting for and writing some basic automation test. It's saying, okay, how can we be more creative? How can we be more innovative? How can we actually add value into the people that come into contact with us on a daily basis? And for me, that's why I'm like, I get to work on some really, really cool stuff. But guess what? The only reason that it's cool, that I get to work on cool stuff, is because I go out there and I look for the cool stuff to work on. And I'm not just waiting for somebody to say, to tell me what to do, right? So we need to change our mindset from just like sitting around and waiting, and to go out there and doing. We have to have that mindset of we have to do something. We need to be able to find and create solutions. All right, so that is my thoughts on that. Check the chat one last time. Roxy said, what is a repo? But she says, okay, got it. It is a repository. Yes. You remember that time somebody asked to slide into my GitHub repos? So that, and I will show you my list of GitHub repos. Let me see. Oh, look at that. Rod Brown got 993. Now shout out to my guy, Rod Brown. All right, we're gonna go to, I'm gonna show you real quick. So inside of my GitHub, I have 27 repositories, and the repository, it just holds a project code, whatever you want to put in there. You can upload anything you want to GitHub, but it's just you know, where the code lives, where the files live, whatever you want to put in there lives. All right. So let's go back to full screen, and we are going to jump into our next segment of work. Do me a favor though. Do me a favor if you have not done so already. You've seen what we've done so far. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you know every time that we go live and drop new content. I'm gonna get a sip of water. This is not water, by the way. I am drinking yerba mate in this, and this right here is my water. All right, let's get to our next segment of work.
Let's go! Let's go!
All right, so we know what we have to do. All right, so we have our ports and we have our, we have our IP address and we have our port. Next up, so this is our requirements. Let's recap it real quick. In order to build our port scanner, we must be able to pass IP addresses to scan. We must be able to pass how many ports to scan. We must be able to specify a specific port to scan. All right. And this one right here satisfies this requirement. So I'm going to do this. Let's go to, I'm going to take this out and I'm going to go over to here, right? So in order to specify the IP address and the port, because guess what? This is an application. We can't just have it hard coded in here because we're not just going to go in here and change the hard code. We're not going to like change the IP address every single time. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to say, let's say IP address equals input. What IP address would you like to scan? All right. And here I could say, I just put in this here, right? So now if I run it again, I should get the same exact results saying that socket connect to 192.168.86.35 and on port 22, connection refused. So we're going to run that. And I should get a prompt though. The input should give me a prompt. So let's say we run that and I say, okay, what IP address would like to scan? 192.168.86.35. And we get the same thing saying connection refused. All right. Because it should have passed in this IP address into here. Okay. Now let's say we want to do the port as well. So let's say, port. I like to be more descriptive with my naming conventions, or with my variable names. Input, what port would you like to scan? All right. And I'm going to update that. And I'm going to say that should be here. And I'm going to run that again, run it back. And I'm going to say 192.168.86.35. What port would I like to get? 22. And now we have, all right, str object cannot be interpreted as an integer. So what does that mean? So when we, for those who have done inputs, AKA Roxy, you guys know that the input is being seen as a string. So we want to convert that to a integer. So there's a couple of ways we can do it. We could do it int like that, or we can do it on this part, right? Either way should be fine. I'll do it on this one because if we ever have to use the port scan again throughout of here, then it would cause us issues, all right? So I'm going to do it on here. So this is already an integer. Let's go to run that. And we're going to do again 192.168. Do you guys hear an annoying, stupid cat outside meowing? My goodness. All right, 86.35. And what port should I scan? 22. And we got the same thing, connection refused. All right. Now, let's be a little bit descriptive on this. All right. So I'm going to say, we're going to say print, and we're going to add the we're going to add the F string here, and we say, scanning IP address. And we're going to do this for IP address scan. And when I was watching the video, they were not using F string, so which leads me to believe that their video is probably pretty old. On port to scan. All right, so we're going to run it again. And it's going to keep failing, right? But we're going to have it printed out that says scanning IP address 192.168.86.35 on port 22. And there we have it, right? Now, I really wish Metasploitable would start up. Because I know we have a bunch of open ports on that one. I don't know why it's not starting up. I knew it used like a minute to start up. Just let it run in the background, I guess, because it would just pop up all of a sudden. So let's let it run in the background. All right, I'm gonna put it over here so I can see if anything happens with it. Let me see. Okay, so let's try a restart, I guess. Okay, so I don't know. That was weird. Maybe it was running or something. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, let's continue. So we're passing in our port to scan, and we're passing in the IP. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to create a function of. So let's just create a little function that we can just call this up. Okay. So we're gonna say define. Let's say scanner or IP and port scanner. Let's see here. And let me put a space here. All right, so what I want to do as well is say taking an IP address and a port number. And here, I will just pass that here, and I will pass that here, pass this here, pass that here. All right, simple as that. And then here I will say IP address and port scanner, IP address to scan, port to scan. All right, so all I'm doing right here is refactoring. So I should get the same exact results no matter what. All right, so let's go ahead and let's run it again. And let's see if we can use the msfadmin/msfadmin. Let's see if we can, oh, come on, that's dumb. Hold on. MSF admin. MSF admin. All right, there we go. So let me see IF config. Let me see what the IP of this address of this. All right, so this one is .37. So if I do 192.168.86.37, I know port 22 should be open. There we go. And we didn't get any errors, right? So let's say, all right, so let's say when we did get an error, okay. So this worked, but we have no confirmation that it worked other than we didn't get an error, right? So we do want to put some type of confirmation in there. So let's say that we'll go with print successfully connected to, I'm gonna copy this over. And I'm gonna add our F string. All right, so now if I run that again, 192.168.86.37, port 22. We get successfully connected to IP address, yada, 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 right? And if we do the other port, 36, or was it 35? I don't know. 192.168.86.35, port 22. We get a connection refused error. So what we can do is we can do a try except. So let's say we do a try. And here we say except connection refused error. Print was unable to connect to, and we might have to, like, you know, if we're going to be like putting this as part of a report or something like that, we might have to make it look differently, but for now that's fine. So let's do this. Let's run it again. 192.168.86.35 on port 22. And so was unable to connect to IP address 192.168.86.35 on port 22. All right, so that is successful. I am going to also put a space. I'm gonna, let me think. What is a space? I'm gonna put a space on this input stuff right here. Okay, now there is this other thing that we can do so that it can look a little bit more prettier, I guess. Import term. Let me see. Let's go ahead and let's look up this. Package real quick. Let's go to term color. Term color. So I have to install it. All right. So let's do. So this is term color, where we want to give our terminal some color, like where we can say, all right, this line I want it to be red. This line I want it to be green. So if it's successful, we want it green. If it's a failure, we want it red. All right. So this package is called term color. We're gonna install it, and we're going to say colored, and it will be red for the failure and green for the pass. All right. Let's go to back over here, and we're going to say import term color, and it's going to say that it's not there. We need to install package term color. It's installed, and we're going to go over to, I think I can just drop it right in here probably. Oh, hold on. Let's do from term color import colored, and I don't know what cprint is. I'm going to just go with colored for now. All right. And we're going to say print. So that one is fine. We're going to say colored. And we're going to say green. And on this one, we're going to say colored. And that's going to be in red. All right. So let's run it again. We're going to try both 192.168.86.35, port 22. And it did not show up in red. Why not? Why the heck not? Let's try. Let me try here. Let's try on this one. Let's say we do Python and scanner 192.168.86.35 22. Oh, ha! All right. So I see what happened. I put the red on the outside. So this has to go red in here. There we go. And this has to go green in here. All right. So I could go back to this one. And let's run it again. 192.168.86.35, 22. And I still don't have a red there, but it could be because it's not in the terminal. So let's try it over here one more time. Let's see. 192.168.86.35 on port 22. There we go. There we go. And if we do the same thing, but we do it on port, or we do 192.168.86.37 on port 22. What? Say what? Say what? Say what? That's what I'm talking about. All right. So now we have that. Let me minimize this because we don't need this right now. So we have our function now, which is saying to we have our very, very basic IP and port scanner. It takes one IP and one port, and it does the scanning. However, what about if I wanted to scan multiple IP addresses? What if I wanted to scan the .35 IP address and the 37 IP address if we are crazy like that? Well, we're just gonna have to write a little bit more code. So what is the input that I wanna do? Well, we can do this. We can say, all right, what IP address would you like to scan? Separate them by a comma, right? Or should do maybe something like this. Okay. So now if I run this again, what IP address would you like to run? So I'm going to say 192.168.86.35 and then 192.168.86.37. That should work, right? Shouldn't that work, huh? What do you guys think? Let's find out what ports 22 And we have a big debacle, a cluster. So we're gonna have to fix that. And it's just more code. We're passing in the IP addresses that we want to scan, right? But we don't have a way to break them apart. Okay, so we're going to have to say, all right, separate this by comma, and then we are going to pass it through. We're going to have to loop through our IP addresses. So how would I do this? Well, let me minimize this thing out. The way I'm thinking about doing it is maybe I can create a list of IP addresses, and then I could loop through that list potentially. I don't think we need to change this function at all. I think this function will live in infamy. All right. However, we can say, all right, so we have, let's say we put this right here. I'm going to define it as that right there. Right? This function is taking an input of an IP address and a port number. Okay? Or actually, no, it's scanning.
Lunch break! Lunch break!
Scanning an IP address and a port number. Okay, so we have that. Now we need to say, all right, I need to say, I want to be able to use the same function, but to pass in multiple IP addresses and port number. Well, at least IP address. We'll keep the same port number for now, but for now we just want to pass in multiple IP addresses, right? But it is time for us to get to break. Alrighty then, let's go ahead. Let me see, is there anything in the chat? Nope, nothing in the chat that's new. Although, oh wait, you know what? I actually missed some stuff. So let me go back. And Rod Brown did say, appreciate the support. And bro, you don't know Star Wars? I do not know Star Wars. That was not a part of my, look, all right, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am not a sci-fi person, all right? I am more of a crime TV show person. So that's why Mitch and I are best friends.
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
We love Chicago Fire, although Atwater is a terrible actor. He is almost as bad as Shamar Moore.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But he is not. He has that going for himself. Terrible actor, but we still love Chicago PD. I'm just saying. So I am not a Star Wars person. I am not a sci-fi person. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see. Roxy said with the Python emojis because we are all working on getting better in Python.
Let's get it.
All right. Okay, cool. So let's jump into our second break time discussion. So a former Facebook executive, I've seen him on, which podcast was that? I've seen him on a podcast before. Maybe it's the All In podcast. I don't know. I've seen him on a podcast before. But he says that, or allegedly he said that, learning to code now is useless. Should we forget learning how to code? So I want to read this article with you. It is from Yahoo Finance. And we are going to be checking on what this former Facebook executive and well-known investor had to say. All right, so let me start our timer, and we're going to switch over to here. So this is I forgot what I seen him on a podcast. I forgot which podcast it is, but Chamath go with Chamath P. Agrees you should no longer learn to code. Says parents should advise their kids to focus on these subjects instead. So on Wednesday, Chamath, a well-known investor and former Facebook executive, shared a bleak outlook for the role of engineers in the near future. What happened? The venture capitalist stated, unfortunate but accurate in response to a post on X which stated, I no longer think you should learn to code. The engineer's role will be supervisory at best within 18 months. Not even 18 years, 18 months.
Bruh.
Building tools for them will be roadkill for the model maker's product roadmap. And this person said, I no longer think you should learn to code. And that was his response on X. Yeah, he is. It is the All In podcast. Yeah, he is on the All In podcast. All right. It says, in the same thread, Chamath advised parents to encourage their children to focus on fields like philosophy, psychology, history, physics, and English writing, hinting at the changing landscape of valuable skills due to AI's rise. And so this post said, what then are you advising your kids to focus their attention on moving forward? And he said philosophy, psychology, history, physics, and English writing. Okay. It says, in X, user noted that coherently explaining business rules possesses the most significant challenge in software design, a point which Chamath wholeheartedly agreed. So why does this matter? Chamath's comments come amidst a broader discussion in the future of work in an AI-dominated world. His new AI venture has been highlighted as a potential game changer that could disrupt the software market. It says, moreover, his predictions align with the sentiments from other tech leaders, including Mark Zuckerberg of Meta, who recently suggested that AI could soon replace mid-level software engineers. AI prompt engineers who train chatbots like ChatGPT are in high demand, with salaries reaching up to $335,000 per year. The role does not require... Okay? The role does not require a tech background, but strong logical thinking and basic computer skills are beneficial. As AI adoption accelerates, companies are prioritizing skills over experience in hiring, according to a previous report. And let's see, is that it? Let's see. That's it. That is it for this article. All right. So let me share my thoughts with this, right? I think that not learning how to code, which, look, this guy, he was a former Facebook exec. Apparently, Mark Zuckerberg agrees with him. And he has way, way, way more money than I do. But I think not learning how to write code, how to think through it, how to process it, is only going to do a disservice to yourself. Because I don't think that you shouldn't learn the other stuff that he's mentioning, especially like he's seen a lot more things than I have, especially starting an AI venture company. And I see the need for the philosophy, the psychology, the history, the physics, the English and stuff like that. But I don't think adding in the additional ability to know how to code is going to hurt, because guess what? When you know how, you need to be able to implement this stuff, right? So if you're going to be implementing AI chatbots and stuff like that, you still need to integrate with these large language models. So I think even if it's less needed, it doesn't hurt to have it. I still think it's...
Back to work. Chop, chop. Let's go. Come on, get a move on. Back to work, back to work, back to work.
I still think it's very necessary, and I do not. And as far as the whole 18-month thing, I I don't see how in 18 months that software engineers are not going to be needed anymore, because I've seen people using AI to write code, and it is not doing a great job yet. Is it getting better? Probably, but it is not doing a great job yet. In addition, there is so much logic that goes into it to connect setting up infrastructure, for instance. Is you can get assistance from AI, but it's hard for me to see AI just taking over altogether. There still needs to be some type of logic that follows it, and the person who's prompting that logic, I don't see, and maybe it's my lack of awareness, because maybe I don't have that same level of visibility as they do, but I don't see how philosophy, psychology, history, physics, and English are going to build software at a high scale. So that's just me. That is just me. I could be missing it, but that is just me. Anyhow, let's get back to it. We have in the building, Kuya Nimbus says you still need to test code and know prompting. Exactly. Because how do you know the AI is doing it correctly? And when we give this part up to AI and stuff like that, that is when we have the robots start to attack us back, because now we are actually letting it think for itself instead of controlling and dictating where it's going and how, because somebody still needs to program the AI. I don't know. That's just me. That is just me. You are totally right, Kuya Nimbus. Shout out to you. And that's a great point. That is a great point. Where is that? Come on, bring that comment in. There we go. So Kuya Nimbus also says, most AI just takes from Stack Overflow. So true. And when I'm searching on Google and I have that AI generated answer, I still have to implement it and figure it out to see if it's working or not. It's not just in our first project with my Tech Barbarians, right? I had somebody, hey, just create the basic website, and they used ChatGPT to create it, and then it was not done properly, and then about a year later, we had to rewrite the whole front end in React the right way. So I don't know. It's hard to see. It's hard to see us. I don't know. I just can't see it yet. I can't see it yet. And even if you don't need to know code on a day-to-day basis as much, it doesn't hurt to learn it. It doesn't. And this is the same thing where people are saying, oh, they don't teach cursive in school anymore. They don't. Do you need cursive on a day-to-day basis? No. But is it good to still know it? Probably. Shout out to the Department of Education. Shout out to what used to be the Department of Education. Kuya Nimbus says, I think it is good to integrate in as a tool, but not get lazy because of it. You are totally correct.
We the best.
I agree 100% with you. All right, let's get to our last segment of work. We are going to go to here.
It's time to do.
All right, so we need to be able to separate this right here, okay? How are we gonna do this? So I think the way that I want to do it is, let me think. I could say, so what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to write the code for, all right, so the next thing we're gonna do is take in multiple IP addresses. All right. In order to take in the IP addresses, I'm going to need to do a list. So if I was to say before we even do all of that, I'm going to make it very, very simple. I'm going to write it like this, right? I'm going to say define a function for except, should I do, let me see, scan multiple IP addresses. All right, I'm thinking in code right now. All right, so I'm going to say IP addresses, and I'm going to say for IP address in IP addresses, and I'm going to say scan IP address port and scanner IP address and I'll just, for now, just for testing purposes, I'm going to put 22, right? This is just a testing purpose, right? And I'm going to say, I'm going to comment this out real quick. And I'm going to comment this out real quick. And I'm going to say, scan multiple IP addresses. And can I pass in a list like this? 192.168.80.86.35 and 192.168.86.37. And I already have the port 22 hard coded in there. Let's see. Let's see what happens with this. Not checking for vulnerabilities. So part of the course on Udemy was building out a Portscanner, and I watched the video on how they did it, and I said, you know, I'm gonna get the requirements, and I'm going to build it in my own way. So we're just kind of building out our own Portscanner tool, real quick. You know, just to get some coding practice and stuff like that. All right, let me go ahead and run this. And we have scan multiple IP addresses. Invalid argument. I'm passing in IP addresses as a list. For IP address, why did that not work? Let me see. Let's see. IP address. So let me do this. I'm going to do print IP addresses, and I'm going to do print IP address. And oh, wait. So this did work. Oh, so it did work. All right. So I just didn't scroll up. So 192.168. We got that and unable to connect. And then we have that. Let's see. So what is this part about? Scanning IP address on port. Why did you fail? Invalid argument. 192.168.37 on port 22. We fell here, and then why would that fail there? IP address port scanner. For IP address, that should have worked. Maybe because it was down, maybe? I'll try that again. What about if I was to say this IP address comes first? Because I don't know why that would fail. Let's run that again. Socket is already connected. Oh, okay. We need to close the socket after. Socket dot close. I forgot about that. All right, so let's do that. Let's run that again. Bad file descriptor. What does that mean? So this one passed now, but this one is failing. And it says socket connect. Bad file descriptor. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let's see. Connection refused. Socket dot. I thought it would be socket dot close. Let me see. What are my other options under that socket? What about if we move this in here, maybe? Why is that? Oh, wait. Why is that? Or maybe it needs that. Hold on. Maybe it needs this closer to it. Maybe it needs it within the function. But then it says shadow element. Socket. Let's call it stuff for now. All right, socket stuff. Let's try that. All right, let's try that again. Ah, there we go. So we needed this part inside of the function, which, all right, so that's good. I will give it, let me give it a name. What name should I give it? Let me see. Let's call it scanner socket. All right, I'll call it scanner socket. I think it was more of coding issues, not having it in the right spot. Then, so we got that. All right. So now we're able to connect to both. So now we need to say when I pass in a list of IP addresses, it needs to convert the comma separated into a list. So let's do some Googling real quick. Let's go here. Convert comma separated string to list. And we'll do that in Python. And we're going to say, all right, so string split by comma. Oh, that's simple as that. We just say split it by the comma. And that should do it. And there was, we'll do that. So we'll do it that way. So we'll say, so we'll call it IP address list. And we'll say split it by comma. How can I remove and trim? So we can do trim for spaces and split by comma. All right. And Kuyanimus says he will check the stream later. Has to get back to Red Hat. Shout out to you and your Red Hat training. That is awesome. Check back in with me as well and let me know how that's going. I would love to hear more about it. But says love the content, wanted to pop in. Thank you so much. You have an amazing night and good luck to you on your Red Hat training. Please share with us because we love to celebrate the good work that our friends and our subscribers are doing over here. All right, let's continue on with this. So we're gonna say, let's go back over here, and we're going to get rid of that, and we're gonna say we're going to uncomment these back, and we're going to run these again, just so we can get our error back. We're gonna say 192.168.80.86.35, comma 192.168.86.37, port 22, and we have our error because we're not splitting. So we are going to say over here, IP addresses list to scan equals IP address to scan dot split by comma. And can I do a trim on there too? No? Or would I do a trim? And I want to say, where would I do a trim? I guess I could do the trim. Because like, what if they put a space in there? We don't want no stinking space, right? Is it strip? Let me see. Let's go back to here and we'll say remove spaces. I think it's either a split or it's a strip. So it would say, so item 1, expected output would be, so item.strip. Why would that be the expected output? How to split by comma and strip white spaces in Python. Let's take a look at this one real quick. Okay. So x.split. Okay, so let's do that. Let's try that. So we're gonna go with it's gonna be, well, no, well, yeah. All right, so we're gonna do this, that, and we're going to say IP address dot strip for IP address in. So if we pass that in, that should hit our loop right there, right? Let's give that a try. And then we want to call in scan. So instead of IP port scanner, we're going to call this in. And for now, we'll take this out, just so we can see if this is working. 168.1.86.35 and 192.168.86.37. Put 22. Let's see. IP. Oh, why did that happen? It put it at, only took 1. Why did that happen? If we're splitting by comma, in IP addresses to scan. Why would it split it by? Maybe there should be a space in there. Let me try that. I don't know why. I don't know why theirs. Huh. That's weird. Let me see. Try that again. 192.168.86.35 and 192.168.86.37. I don't, that's weird that it's splitting it that way. That's so weird. I am going to do it a different way. Let's get rid of that. So if we do it, so if we have this split, let's see what happens if we, let's see what happens if we do introduce a, so let's do that. Let's make sure this is working. Let's see 86.35 and 192.168.86.37. And why is it doing that? Split by comma. IP address. Oh, wait a second. Silly me. No, that's wait, IP address. Oh, scan. All right, so I'm putting IP address to scan. I need to pass this in. So that probably okay. Let me go back to what we were doing before. See, and little typos. So IP address dot strip for IP address in. So let's try that again. I put in the wrong thing, the wrong variable. 80.86.35 and .86.37. All right, there we go. So that is working. We're able to scan. We're able to pass in multiple IP addresses. Let's see. I should probably split out the port, but whatever. So we're passing in here. And so I'll just put in port number. Let me see. So port number. All right. So that should take care of scanning multiple IP addresses. What about, though, scanning for multiple ports? Right? And all right, so there's different ways you can do this. We can say, what are our port scanning options? All right, so I'm gonna go back up here and I'm gonna say
Lunch break.
Oh, time is up. Oh, all right, let me just list out our port scanning options. Right, port scanning options. Let's say we can do, and I'm gonna also add in as well IP address scanning options. So port scanning options. Our port scanning options would be, you can say a port scanning option would be single port, range of ports. We could say single specific ports separated by comma, right? So different options that we have. And for our IP addresses, we can have a single IP address, a range of IP addresses, and specific IP addresses separated by comma. So we already have this one done. I'm gonna do a check. So that one is already done, right? So this would be IE you pass that in. A range of IP addresses would be 192.1, so let's say IE 192.168.86.12 192.168.86.255, right? So that would be a range. And single IP address, that goes without saying. We technically have that one done already, like that. So we have those two. We can build one for this one, but this one is like a lower priority in my eyes. Actually, no, it is not a low priority. It is actually important because if you're scanning a network, you're gonna need this range. All right, so the single ports, i.e. port 22, we have that one pretty much taken care of. Range of ports, we can say from 1 to 8, however many there are. We'll just go with 85,000 for now. Or specific, we can say IE 22, 23, or 21 for FTP, 3306 for MySQL, etc. Right? So what we're going to wrap it up. What I'm going to do is we're going to go here or here. Okay. We're going to go. So next, so we have, let me get rid of this one. So we have scanning multiple IP addresses. I probably will rename this function because we're going to have to integrate scanning the different ports in there as well. But the bread and butter is going to be this one because this one is going to be the one doing all the work. And we're going to create different functions to call up this one. So this one is to scan multiple IP addresses. I have to have it scan multiple ports as well. So we'll take care of that next time. So we'll work on this one to scan multiple IP addresses and multiple ports, and we'll do that to be separated by comma for the ports. We'll see. Anyways, so I'm gonna do this. Up next, we'll say up next for this is gonna be April 10th. So we should be specific ports separated by comma, and we can also say I'm going to put both of these. I think you can find the IP address, but knowing the actual ports that are open, you're going to need to scan for that. So we're going to do I'm going to do the range first, and then we'll do the specific ports next. All right. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do that. I think that's a good stopping point. All right. Let's go back to our full screen. So that is it for today. I had one more topic, but I took a little bit longer in the other topic, so I'm gonna save that topic for Sunday or maybe Saturday. I don't know, but we'll get into it at that point. With that, why do I still have this up on the screen? Jesus Christ. Anyways, so I'm gonna save that topic for next time. Final thoughts for today before I take the chat. we are going to be tomorrow. We're going to be having our episode of the Bug Bite. It's going to be really good. It's going to be talking about an Oracle security breach, and then Saturday morning, maybe starting a little bit earlier for the weekly economics review show, and Sunday DevOps, of course, as well as Sunday night on the Half Guard Halfie channel. We're going to be having Jiu-Jitsu talk. We're going to be reviewing Henry's matches, as well as a post that I saw about Dana White and UFC fighters. Yes, UFC fighters. Even they, in my humble opinion, run in the victim Olympics. However, I would never, ever, ever say that to any one of their faces. All right. Anyways, let me check the chat before we get up and out of here. We have, let's see. First, let me start off with this. We have my guy, Masafai, in the building. Says good evening to me, to the beautiful Roxy, and the chat. Sorry, I am late. You, as long as you are here, you are more than appreciated, Masafai.
I appreciate you.
Keep up the amazing work. And we hold on 1 second. I can't read this yet. I cannot read this yet. I have to verify for myself. Trust, but verify. I ain't trying to have a whole Marvin Sapp episode up in here. Let me see. Let's see. Man, it won't. It's not showing it on my end, Rod Brown. But Rod Brown is saying YouTube Studio said I hit 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations. It's probably going to update for me in a little bit, but congrats to you, Rod Brown, and the amazing work that you're doing. I am so proud of you. Oh, Rod Brown said he sent me the screenshot. All right, you see, look at that. He's sending in the receipts. Rod Brown is sending the receipts. Shout out to Rod. That is awesome. Man, we've been talking about this for a while, Rod Brown. I am so happy for you. Keep up the amazing work. All right, let me check the screenshot. Let me check the screenshot. But amazing stuff. Let's see. He did send me the screenshot. He's not even 1,000. 1,001. You know what? We are going to celebrate my guy Rod Brown before we get up and out of here. All right. Shout out to you, Rod Brown. So proud of you. So proud of you. Let's go out there and get it. I'm telling you, you got the quality of Rod Brown's videos and the work ethic and the message that he delivers. I have not seen anyone do that much of an amazing job. So much quality in his work. All right. Let me see. And that's it. That is it for tonight. We are going to wrap it up. Rod Brown. You know what that means, that Rod Brown. You know what that means. You know what that means, right, Brown? That means we going live. And I'm about to get a message on Discord that says that Rod Brown hates me. Anyways, let me get out of here. I'm telling you, I remember I had a conversation with Masafai maybe a year ago, and then he's had exponential growth. I've been talking to Rod Brown. I've met Rod Brown in person. I have had lunch with Rod Brown, and I'm telling you, seeing you guys grow and put in so much work and so much effort, I'm so happy to see it. I love it. I salute you. I congratulate you. You guys are amazing. All right. Anyways, I am going to get out of here. You know what? Let's get it though.
Let's get it.
Have an amazing night. I will see you guys tomorrow for the Bug Bite, and most likely Saturday morning for our weekly economic review. But until then, you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your week. And let me get this off the screen. And take care. Tech Coach Ralph, we are out.
Grinding hard, we never sleep. The mountain's high, but the climb's so steep. With every push, we prove our might. True giants own the night.
Foot on their necks, they think they can rise. Boss up with no work is living a lie. We're the giants, we're earning our keep. You're only here cause we let you breathe.
You think you got what it takes, but you don't. No accolades, no grind, watch your throne. We built this empire brick by brick, while you sit back pretending you're slick.
We the true giants, the leaders of the pack. You're in our shadow, watch your back, only here, because we allow it so. Know your place, you'll never outgrow. Yeah, every triumph, every trophy we earned. While you chasing dreams yet to be learned. We fought battle scars to get to the top. Your lazy hustle just makes us stop. Burnt out pretenders can't make the climb. Step aside, kid, it's our time to shine. Feel the pressure, feel the heat. True giants never accept defeat. We the true giants, the leaders of the pack. You're in our shadow, watch your back, only here, because we allow it so. Know your place, you'll never outgrow. You'll never outgrow. You'll never outgrow. Grinding hard, we never sleep. The mountain's high, but the climb's so steep. With every push, we prove our might. True giants own the night. You'll never outgrow. We the true